I have traveled long and far to discover the very mysterious and medieval Loveland Castle. But does it exist? Hi, my name is Ben Helmus, and today we are going to take a tour of the legendary Loveland Castle in Loveland, Ohio. Let's see how fantabulous and medieval this place really is. Hello, sir. May I please have a ticket to your wonderful castle? Okay. Thank you so much, sir. The first question you may have is, why is there a castle in Loveland, Ohio anyway? And it's a funny story. It actually has to do with the World War I veteran. In 1929, Harry Andrews began construction on this castle. He only died in 1981, which means that he actually worked in this castle for 52 years, meaning that it has been under construction by him longer than it has been standing ever since he's passed away. And as you can see, he's left quite a big legacy behind him. So no, this wasn't just some random guy who decided to build a castle one day. He actually went to the University of Marseille after the First World War, and he actually learned about medieval architecture. A lot of things he did really wouldn't have been able to have been done unless he knew vast amounts about the actual construction process, because today we have reinforcement and rebar usually when we build something like a second-story building, or especially when we're working with stone, but he really just used concrete and just plain stones in almost all of this building, which is all the more incredible when you think about it. He took old milk or juice cartons like this, and he'd use it as a form in order to make these bricks. He just let them sit out in the sun for a while. As you can see, he put lots of other things in these bricks. He put in Coke bottles, cans, stones from other places. So this is the main room. If you walk in, it's basically a memorial to Harry Andrews, who built this castle. This starts with him in the very beginning in the early 1920s, which he bought this property for just $75 back in the 1920s. And it just shows his progress, how he made throughout the years. Up there is him shortly before he passed away. They actually made a documentary about him when he was 90 in 1980. So this part of the castle is known as the chapel. As you can see, it has been well decorated and well mostly finished by his successors. So Harry Andrews took stones from around the world and put them into the chapel. So we got one from Switzerland here. This is a meteorite. This one's from Italy. We've got Canada, Nazareth up there. Part of the pyramid. I'm sure you probably can't take that today. So this room is for the Knights of the Round Table. And I have to say, it looks pretty convincing. And I don't know about you, but this room more than any other reminds me of Monty Python. Not gonna lie. So the room I'm entering right now is known as the Great Ballroom. You can see lots of different crests all around the room. And these are all different parts of his order known as the Knights of the Golden Trail. And these groups have continued on well past his death in 1981. So this is still a real castle, and it does still have real tenants. They're actually the current owners of the castle if you ever come here, so if you pay admission, just keep in mind that this isn't going just to the city or state. This is going to a private donation to an actual group of people that actually has to maintain that out of their own pockets, so do keep that in mind. So Harry actually built a dome in what is now, well, what was his bedroom. And a lot of engineers criticized it, saying that a actual stone dome wouldn't be able to hold its own weight. But as you can see, after even 40 years after his death, that dome is actually still there and is still in one piece and has not had to be restored. Up here is what is technically the third floor, although the public is not allowed to access it. There was actually a secret room in the castle garden that was discovered well after he passed away, that had been hidden all that time, and nobody knew beyond him that this little room existed. But another fun fact about the castle garden is that every spring they hold a wine tasting tour from all these different wines in France, which is where this castle is supposed to be modeled after, which I say is a pretty fitting place of anywhere in Ohio. So closer by the river, he actually built up a big wall that he built his castle further up on, and there are actually just as many stones in that wall as there are in his castle. And if you look far enough down there, he actually has a garage on the far end. And down here you will find the castle dungeon. Oh. So what we have here is a true-to-life medieval door. This little mini hatch in the center, that is actually where the term "stick your neck out" comes from, because at night they were often worried that bandits would come into the castle, so they wouldn't use the main door, and you'd have to step through that door and kind of crawl in by sticking your neck out. So when you do that, that means that somebody has a sword over you that could potentially slash you, which is why it's kind of a big deal to stick your neck out for somebody. So that was the wonderful and historic Loveland Castle. I hope you enjoyed this adventure as much as I did, and make sure to check it out if you're ever in the area around Loveland, Ohio.